O'Connell's Choice Cuts on Absolute Radio.
Here's the story then, if I've got this right. There's a soldier, he's very young, from the voicemail message we heard, I'd say 17 or 18, he's serving out in Afghanistan, and he's only allowed to make a phone call once a month. So he calls up his pregnant girlfriend, Samantha, and Tyne Weir, Sunderland neck of the woods, and he leaves a very emotional voicemail message, as you can understand. And then he says how much he loves her, then he proposes to her. And then he says, I'll speak to you next month. So just straight away, you're like, crikey, the reality of that, this young lad out there has got to wait a month to find out whether or not the love of his life is going to say yes or no. But he left the voicemail not on his girlfriend's phone. It was on somebody else's phone. And that's what we're trying to track her down, Samantha, to say, look, do you know you've been proposed to? And the person whose voicemail was left on is on the line now. And that's you, Diane Potts. Good morning.
Good morning.
So listen, Diana, I'm fascinated by this. Take us through what actually happened then. So what, it was a message on your landline?
I came home from work on Thursday evening and listened to the messages as usual, and there was a message left, this particular message, by this young man, and I just started to listen to it and realised, this was very, very unusual, and was in a bit of a shock at first, to be honest.
How come we all now know about this? What happened next, Diana?
I asked my husband to have a listen to it, obviously, and he put it onto an MP3 file. And then we emailed the audio over to Tyne Tees, which is our regional podcast studio. And I just said, look, I've received this message, have a listen to it. If you think it's genuine, then give us a ring back or, email me back or something. But have a little listen. And they did. They just said, they'd listened to it, and everybody who'd heard it said, the same thing, really. That was very moving and touching, and would I like to come in and sort of do a small interview, to let people know about it, and then kind of it's just escalated, really.
To date, do you know if anything has happened?
No, I mean, it's very surprising, especially yesterday, as it kind of went widespread.
Yeah.
And we had lots of sort of reporters and people, doing interviews and for various newspapers and television. So, it hasn't brought Samantha or someone, up to now who knows who this is. So I am a little surprised, to be honest. I thought today it would have been kind of news that she'd been found and we could have a happy ending, but it isn't, unfortunately.
So, obviously she's got to be local, because if it was left on your landline, I guess it's a local number with, a digit or two out of place. Yeah,
I mean, presumably, because it covers sort of the north-eastern area, the 0191, which is the code, and if he's dialed or misdialed, as you say, a few of the digits, then it's quite possible it is local. It's just very unusual, really, that that this has sort of happened and nobody's come forward.
Sure. And is everyone talking about it up there, Diana?
Well, yeah. I mean, it is. It's quite sort of crazy, to be honest. I think everywhere you look at the moment, everybody's sort of touched by it, and they just wanted Samantha to come forward, because we hear so many heart-rending stories of the lads out in Afghanistan, and some really sad stories, and something like this would just be really positive and, good.
Yeah, that's why it sort of caught our attention, and why we had so many listeners yesterday who were so moved by it, because it's a nice story, but you kind of want the happy ending. And just while we're talking, I've just had a text come in. This is Meg from yesterday. My boyfriend's also serving out in Afghanistan. He emailed back last night saying he's put the word around at his base. So, people are trying, but we kind of thought by now they would have found Samantha, because the world's such a smaller place now, isn't it, through Facebook and stuff like that?
Yeah, I mean, it's really reached everywhere. The forces, the armed forces abroad, and certainly, kind of internationally now, CNN are playing the story, and I mean, I am surprised. Yeah, I mean, I'm very, very surprised, to be honest, and part of me thinks, what is this? Is this something kind of, is it a hoax? It has to go through the mind now, because you think, surely by now, then, especially as people can be traced,
But it's so difficult, because you don't have a surname, you don't even have his name, and isn't it incredible how people are so just automatically suspicious these days? You've got a real story like this, which is a really moving story, and yet everyone's like, yeah, what's the scam?
Well, it is. I mean, I was reading some of the news feed, the articles that's been on the internet, and the sort of people's been leaving these messages saying, they think it's really bad that the media's doing this, and there's obviously a lot of money in it for me and all this sort of thing. And
how are you? Have you had any money from doing this?
No, not at all.
I was about to say, how are you making money out of it?
Well, not at all.
Unless you charge a premium rate phone line to listen to the message.
No, I mean, it's nuts. It really is crazy, the idea that I'm making anything out of it.
I'd be stunned if it was a hoax, but these days you never know. But we played some of the voice message out yesterday. I wish we hadn't. I wanted to hear it because out of curiosity, it's like when you find a love letter from somebody else, you can't help but read it. And we played it out, and I wish we hadn't because it was something so personal. But it was so moving and filled with genuine emotion. I can't see that it's a scam, but I mean, we'll have to wait and see. But listen, Diana, thank you very much for talking to us. I know you've been in demand over the last 24 hours, and hopefully today and tomorrow, you never know, there might be some good news. But thank you very much for speaking to us, Diana, and good luck.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thanks a lot.